Georgia, peaches, pines, and secrets. Beneath the magnolias and historic streets lies a shadowy past, where tragedies go unanswered, treasures remain buried, and legends still walk among us. Tonight, we're diving into the top 10 unsolved mysteries of Georgia, stories that will haunt you long after you hear them. Number 10. The Tybee Bomb, a Cold War Ghost. In February 1958, during the height of the Cold War, a U.S. Air Force B-47 bomber collided with a fighter jet during a training mission near Savannah. To save the crew and the aircraft, the pilots dropped a 7,600-pound Mark 15 hydrogen bomb into the waters near Tybee Island. The bomb was never recovered. The Air Force insists it lacked the plutonium core needed for a nuclear detonation, but declassified documents suggest otherwise, leaving locals fearful that a live nuke rests just offshore. Over the decades, treasure hunters, divers, and conspiracy theorists have scoured the seabed, some claiming to have found radiation hotspots, others believing the military covered up a catastrophic risk. To this day, the Tybee Bomb remains one of America's most notorious missing weapons, a reminder that even paradise waters can hide something terrifying. Number 9. The Atlanta Ripper, a century-old darkness. Between 1909 and 1914, Atlanta was gripped by terror. More than 24 black women were brutally attacked and murdered, their throats cut in eerily similar fashion. Newspapers quickly dubbed the killer the Atlanta Ripper, comparing him to London's Jack the Ripper. Panic swept through the city, women refused to walk alone at night, and entire neighborhoods lived in fear. The police arrested several men over the years, but the killings continued, suggesting either the wrong men were blamed, or that more than one killer stalked the streets. For working-class families already living under the weight of Jim Crow segregation, the lack of justice felt like an extra wound. More than a century later, the true identity of the Atlanta Ripper remains unknown. Was he a lone predator, a group of killers, or a convenient scapegoat lost in the chaos of history? Number 8. Moore's Ford Bridge, the lynching that never answered. On a hot July day in 1946, one of the last mass lynchings in U.S. history took place in Walton County, Georgia. Two young black couples, George and Mae Murray Dorsey, and Roger and Dorothy Malcolm, were dragged from their car at gunpoint near Moore's Ford Bridge. They were beaten and shot dozens of times by a white mob. The murders horrified the nation, prompting President Truman to demand a federal investigation. But despite hundreds of interviews, the killers were never brought to justice. For decades, rumors swirled about who in the community had joined the mob, but silence and fear kept the truth buried. To this day, activists gather at the bridge to honor the victims and demand answers, while descendants of those lost still wait for justice that never came. Moore's Ford is not just a cold case, it is an open wound in Georgia's history. Number 7. The Atlanta Child Murders, 30 names, one city traumatized. From 1979 to 1981, Atlanta's black community faced a nightmare. Children and teenagers, mostly boys, vanished from neighborhoods, their bodies later discovered in woods, rivers, and abandoned lots. Parents warned kids not to walk alone, but the disappearances kept happening. The city was paralyzed with fear. In 1981, police arrested Wayne Williams, later convicting him for 2 adult murders. Authorities declared the child killings solved, attributing many of them to Williams. Yet controversy lingers. Some families believe multiple killers were involved, others believe political pressure forced a too quick conclusion. Even decades later, DNA retesting and new investigations have reopened old wounds. The list of young victims, more than 25 children, remains one of the most chilling reminders of how a community's heart can be shattered by unanswered questions. Atlanta still carries the scars of those years, and the truth may never be fully known. Number 6. Tiffany Witten, last seen running from Walmart. In September 2013, 26-year-old Tiffany Witten was caught on surveillance cameras inside a Walmart in Marietta. Security staff tried to stop her for shoplifting. Instead, Tiffany bolted, barefoot, terrified, and vanishing into the night. That footage was the last time anyone saw her alive. Tiffany struggled with addiction and had a turbulent personal life, but her sudden disappearance shocked her family, especially her grandmother, who spent years begging for answers. Investigators searched woods, rivers, and homes linked to Tiffany's circle, but no evidence ever surfaced. The case is complicated by theories of foul play, suggestions she may have overdosed, and whispers of trafficking. Yet nothing concrete has ever been found. Tiffany's story lingers as one of Georgia's most modern mysteries, a young woman gone in a flash, leaving only a grainy video and a mother's endless heartbreak. Number 5. The murder of Jennifer Stone, a college town's nightmare. In April 1992, Athens, Georgia, home to the University of Georgia, was rattled by the brutal murder of 22-year-old senior Jennifer Lynn Stone. Jennifer was found dead in her off-campus apartment, sparking fear across a city filled with students who suddenly no longer felt safe. Investigators collected evidence, but despite decades of forensic advances, the case remains unsolved. Jennifer's friends described her as smart, vibrant, and full of promise, a young woman preparing to launch into adulthood. That life was cut short in a way that felt especially cruel in a tight-knit college town. Over the years, rumors have swirled about suspects and motives, but the truth remains hidden. For Athens, a city known for music, sports, and southern charm, Jennifer Stone's murder is a haunting reminder that evil can walk even the most familiar streets. Number 4. Lake Lanier, drowned towns and dark waters. Lake Lanier was built in the 1950s, flooding entire valleys, farmland, and small towns to create a massive reservoir. Cemeteries were relocated, at least, most of them, and entire communities were erased beneath the water. Ever since, the lake has carried a reputation for being cursed. More than 200 people have drowned in its waters since the 1990s, many under mysterious circumstances. Boaters describe sudden waves, malfunctioning equipment, or feeling as if something pulled them under. Divers report eerie encounters with submerged homes and gravestones still resting on the lake bed. Ghost stories thrive here too, most famously the Lady of the Lake, said to be the restless spirit of a woman who died in a 1958 car accident. Whether it's poor construction, treacherous currents, or the spirits of those never properly laid to rest, Lake Lanier remains one of the most haunted and feared places in Georgia. Number 3. Bonaventure Cemetery, the ghosts of Savannah. Savannah has long been called one of the most haunted cities in America, and nowhere is that reputation stronger than Bonaventure Cemetery. The sprawling grounds, with Spanish moss hanging over marble headstones, are both beautiful and unnerving. The cemetery is most famous for the grave of Little Gracie, a 6-year-old girl who died of pneumonia in 1889. Her lifelike statue has become a focal point of ghost lore. Visitors report feeling watched, hearing phantom laughter, and even seeing the statue's eyes move. Beyond Gracie, locals tell stories of shadowy figures, strange cold spots, and apparitions walking among the oaks at night. Bonaventure is not just a cemetery, it's a cultural icon, featured in books, films, and ghost tours. For some, it's peaceful southern beauty. For others, it's a place where the past refuses to stay buried. Number 2. The brutal murder of Russell and Shirley Dermond. In May 2014, in the quiet gated community of Great Waters on Lake Oconee, tragedy struck. 88-year-old Russell Dermond was found in his garage, decapitated. His wife Shirley was missing, sparking panic that she'd been abducted. Days later, fishermen discovered her body weighted down in the lake. The Dermonds were known as kind, well-liked neighbors with no apparent enemies. The brutality of the crime shocked investigators, professional, targeted, but strangely lacking motive. There was no forced entry, no theft, just violence that seemed personal yet inexplicable. Detectives pursued leads from cartels to disgruntled acquaintances, but nothing has ever stuck. To this day, the case remains one of Georgia's most gruesome unsolved mysteries, a reminder that even behind manicured lawns and security gates, horror can lurk. Number 1. The Legend of Lost Confederate Gold. As the Civil War came to a bloody close in 1865, rumors spread that vast amounts of Confederate gold were hidden in Georgia. Some said wagons laden with coins and bullion were buried in secret pits to keep them from Union hands. Others told of trains that disappeared with their cargo, or treasure hidden beneath magnolia trees and farmhouses. Treasure hunters have scoured the state for generations, convinced the fortune still lies buried beneath the soil. Historians remain skeptical, but local legends insist the gold has been found in small pieces, quietly enriching families who never admitted its source. Whether fact or folklore, the lure of sudden fortune buried just beneath the surface has kept Georgians digging, dreaming, and whispering for more than 150 years. From lost warheads and vanished children to ghostly cemeteries and whispers of hidden treasure, Georgia's mysteries are stitched into its soil. Some speak of tragedy, others of greed, and others of the thin line between the living and the dead. Which story chilled you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into America's strangest mysteries, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode of Top 10s and Tales. Thanks for watching.